She doesn't show up, but she shows up.
No?
But she just said
Like that. And maximize.
I don't know, we're all really out of shape.
I thought I was trying to make this thing work so the online students wouldn't have to watch me run through all this setup stuff, but it looks like they're just going to have to bear with me while I run through all this connectivity stuff. Is it up there? All right. I guess we're on our way. Let's pray. Father, thank you for this time we have together. Ask your blessing on these students as we finish up this last topic in chapter 2. Help us to be well prepared for the exam that's coming up on Friday. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. So here we are, the last topic in this chapter. Aren't you glad? Be done with this stuff. So let's look at page 90. I know there's a 2.5 here, but we're not doing that. We're skipping 2.5. So the part on the practice test that covers 2.5 you're not responsible for. We're just going up through 2.4. And problem 2 says, suppose that the number of elements in A, did you see how I read that? The number of elements in A, that's on page 84, isn't it? Where they talk about that? Is that what that says? Page 84. The number of elements in A is 15. The number of elements in B is 20. And, oh no, that's yours. You're going to let me do one of yours, aren't you? No, we're not. The number of elements in A is 12. This is problem 2. The number of elements in B is 6. And the number of elements in A union B is 14. And find the number of elements in A intersect B. That's the question mark. That's what we're trying to find. So watch what we do. We have 2 circles. A and B. Okay? How many elements in A?
12.
12. How many elements in B? 6. But it says the union of A and B, so A plus B, the number of elements in A plus the number of elements in B would equal what? 18?
14.
Oh, it says 14 here, but what's 12 plus 6?
18.
18. That's too many. We only want 14. So what do we do with those 18, this, minus that 14? Leaves us with what, 4? What if we took that 4 and put it right here? Then now A has how many in it? 16, but we only want it to have 12, so we scratch this out and replace this with what? 8. See what I just did? Now, how many does A have in it? A has 8 plus 4. Now A has 12 in it.
Why did you take the numbers out of A? Why not B?
Okay, watch this. How many does B have in it now? 10. How many is B supposed to have in it? So I scratch out 6 and put how many out here? 2. Ah. You see what just happened? When I had 12 and 6, that adds up to 18. That's too many. If it told me that the union was 14, then I subtract the 14, I get this 4, and I stick the 4 in there where the 2 overlap, which is, what is that 4 called? This area right here is called what? The intersection of A and B, which is what we put up here. The intersection of A and B is 4, so that's the answer to our question. 4. So you see what happens? We're going to draw pictures for every one of these and figure out what's going on. Okay, let's scroll this down. Oh, I can't do that. Let's scroll this up and let's do one of yours. It's just from the looks on your faces, it'd be nice if I helped you today. The number of elements in A, what does yours say? Is 15. The number of elements in B, what does it say? 20. The number of elements in A, what? Intersect B is what? 5. Find the number of elements in A union B. Okay? So let's draw two pictures. Here's A. Here's B. And what does this say? The intersection? The intersection of A and B is 5. So what goes in this space here?
5.
So we put a 5 in here. Now, how many elements are in, what's the number of elements in A? So if 5 of them are here, what goes out here? 10. Everybody follow that? And B has 20. The number of elements in B is 20. And if 5 are here, how many go out here? 15. So now B has 20. And A has 15. Just what they said up there. Okay? Now, if I put A and B together, what do I get? 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 15 is 30. Everybody see that? So when they told us what the union was, I could do that subtraction to find the intersection, put that in there, and then I can, and then that's going to help me finish out my picture. No matter, in other words, there are 3 pieces of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of information. They'll give you 3 of them, and you find the 4th one.
So, if you divided you have your 5 in there, and you took it from each side, so why would it be 30?
So why what?
Why would it be 30?
What's 10 plus 5 plus 15?
Yes, but I'm asking, well, I get that. I'm just saying that the 5, we just took it out of the 20 right there, and the 10.
Oh, why did I take 5 out of 15?
Well, like, I know why we did that, but that's why I was asking. I was like, well, then why did you not add the 5 to the 15 to get it 35 instead of 30?
Oh, okay, because you say if A has 10 plus 5, that's 15. If B has 15 plus 5, that's 20. See what she's saying? Why wouldn't you add those together? If I did that, I would be counting 5 twice. So that's why there's a formula in the front part of this chapter that says to find this, you take the number of elements in A, which is 15, plus the number of elements in B, which is 30 or 20, and then minus the number of elements in A intersect B. Because see, I have to subtract this so I don't add it twice. So that's where that formula comes from. That's in the reading in your textbook. I mean, you can use the formula if you like formulas, but do you see how when you look at it, you can say, hey, this 5 is a part of this and a part of this, so I don't want to count that 5 twice. That's 5 people who are in both, 10 people only in A, 15 people only in B. That's a total of 5 people plus 10 plus 15. That's a total of 30 people. Does that help?
Yeah, it's just a confusing one.
It just looks like I ought to add 5 twice. I'd feel better if I did it that way. Then I'd check it wrong when I check the answer. Oh, write yourself a note. Don't add that intersection twice. That's why the formula says subtract that number, because it's if it's added twice, once to 15 and once to 20, then by subtracting it, that cuts it back to it's only being added 10 plus 5 plus 15. All right, let's move on up. What's the deal here? Why doesn't this thing want to move? I don't know. Number 4. There are 50 students in algebra, so I draw a big A and put 50 in here. And 30 students in chemistry, so I draw a big C and put 30 in here. Find the number of elements in A. What's the answer? What's the number of elements in A? 50. Find the number of elements in C. What is that? 30. The total number of students taking either algebra or chemistry, if it's known that none of the students are taking both. So there's 0 in here for both, right?
Yeah.
So what's the total? Taking algebra or chemistry. 80? Everybody follow that? Now look at 4D. What if the number of students taking algebra and or chemistry is known that 10 students are taking both? So instead of 0 in here, now I have 10 in here. I have 10 students taking both. Now, how many students? Get that out of here. I don't want that. No. Go away. Go away. Man. Why does this thing do that kind of stuff to me? There. Okay. So I have 10. Now if I have 10 here, what do I have to do to 50?
Take 10 out.
Change that to what? 40. And what do I do to 30? Change that to 20. So now I have 30 people taking chemistry and 50 people taking algebra, okay? What do they want to know for 4D? How many students? What's the total? Taking algebra and or chemistry. And what would that total be?
Still 80.
40, 50, and 20 would be 70. Everybody follow that? Does that make sense? Well, you go. Yeah, as much as it's going to make sense. Okay, let's turn this up and do problem number 6. On checking with 100 families, it was found that 83 subscribed to Time, 40 subscribed to Newsweek.
Are you doing 5 or 6?
Oh,
She's doing six.
Oh,
He's doing
you're doing
6.
6.
6? I'm doing 6.
Yeah.
And 30, I've got 30 right in here that subscribe to both. Now, as soon as I put that 30 in there, how many people do I show subscribing to Time? 83 plus 30 would be what?
113.
113. That's wrong. There's only 83 people. So what has to change to the people who are just taking Time and not Time and Newsweek? 53. Because 53 and 30 make 83. Then on the other side, if 30 of the people taking Newsweek are taking Time, how many are just taking Newsweek? 10. Everybody see what we're doing? Good. Now, look what the question is for number 6. This is so much fun. How many? Neither. Here's my box, my universe. How many people were surveyed?
100.
100 families. Well, wait a minute. No, I had 100 families, but I have, what do I have here? 53 and 30 and 10 come up to what?
93.
93. And so I have 100, but I've got 93 of them taking Time or Newsweek. How many are down here in the corner that are not taking anything?
7.
7. Everybody see that? So how many neither? 7. Wasn't that fun? It wasn't. Let's scroll up and do number 8. We'll keep looking for one that sounds like it might be fun. By the way, I want to thank you for reading the chapter pages before you come in here. On Monday, 82% of you read those pages. I can't wait to check attendance today to see how many read the pages today. This is cool stuff. I know it's not fun reading math, but it does help kind of set the stage in your mind for what we're going to do in here. Number 8, Mr. Enroll, the registrar at a university, has observed that, oh man, now I've got 3 circles. I have 9 o'clock class. What's the next one? 10 o'clock class. And what's the next one? 11 o'clock class. You see how complicated this is going to get? Now remember, on the others, we were putting the numbers out there and then marking them out. It gets way too complicated when you've got 3 circles. So let me show you a shortcut. It's so cool, but the reason people don't like it is you always read from top to bottom. Well, for working this problem, we go to the last line first. We start reading from the bottom up. What's the last thing for problem 8 say?
5% have a 9, 10, and 11.
So right here where all 3 overlap is I put 5. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Good. Everybody see where right there in the middle where all 3 circles overlap? There's 5 people that have a 9, 10, and 11 o'clock class. Then move up 1 more. What's it say next?
15 have a 10 and 11.
So here's 10, here's 11, and there's 15 here. So do I put 15 in this spot?
No.
What do I put?
10.
10, because I have 15 people with a 10 and an 11 o'clock class, I have 15. If 5 do all 3, I have 10 more that are just doing the 2. 10 and 11. You got it? So let's move up one more line. 10% have what?
9 and 11.
So here's 9 and here's 11, and 10% are in here. So what number goes there? 5. Everybody see that? Good. Where were we? 10%? 20, move up one more line. 20% have 10, 9 and 10. Here's 9 and 10. What percent are right in here? What percent are in there? 20? If I already have 5, what number goes here? 15. I put my hand on here and things jump up off the page at me. I hold my hand up and it squiggles. Okay, now we're up to which line? You might even take your pencil and check them off as you move up. 40% have an 11 o'clock class. So how many have an 11 o'clock class? 40 total. So how many do I have here? 10, 15, 20. So what number goes out here to make 40%? 20. Everybody see that? 20 plus, well, 10 plus 5 is 20, and another 20 makes 40. Then we move up one more line. 45% have a 10 o'clock class. Here's 10 o'clock. We've got 15 and 5 and 10. What's that add up to? What's 15 and 5 and 10? 30? And how many did it say we have in there? So I have to put how many out here? 15. Everybody follow that? Now we're up to the first line. 45% have a 9 o'clock class. So we have, here's 9 a.m., 15, 5, and 5 is what? 25. And what's the total that goes in this circle? 45. So what's 45 minus 25? 20. We have finished the picture. Now we can read the questions. Now we can answer the questions. Question 8A. What percent of the students have only a 9 o'clock class? That would be this number right here, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They're only at 9 o'clock, 20%. See how I go to all this trouble to draw the picture so I can answer the questions, then I just look at the picture and it answers them. 8B. What percent of the students have no class at all? Uh-oh, what's my universe? What percent have no classes at these times?
You're going to have to add all of them up and minus 100.
Oh, these are percentages,
Yeah.
so I add them all together. What's 20 plus 15 plus 15? 50?
Yeah.
50, 60, 70,
90.
90. Right? Let's do it again. 20, 35, 50, 60, 65, 70, 20, 90. So there's 90 students. 90% of the students have classes at these times. And all the students would be 100%. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many go down here in the corner?
10.
10%. Everybody follow that? Do you feel powerful? Is this making a little more sense today? Good, because we've done enough stuff that didn't make sense. You've got plenty of stuff that doesn't make sense to bring your notes with you to the test on Friday and say, doesn't have to make sense. I just follow the rules and do what it tells me to do. And I'll find the answers to my questions. But if this makes sense, then that's just going to make it easier. That's part of what bothers people with math. Sometimes you actually learn to do something in math that doesn't make sense in your head, and it just tears you up. Because you just naturally thought that you would naturally think good math. And we just don't all have that capacity. So we just say, what I don't understand, I write notes and tell myself to do this and this and this, because why? Because that's what you do to get the answer. Do you understand why? No, and I don't care. I just follow the procedures and get the answers. For those who care and want to know and agonize over it, stay after class and we'll walk through it till it makes sense to you. Number 10. Use the table in problem 9 to find the number of people in the following sets. 10A. What does that say? Can someone read that?
Carbon A intersects this.
What?
Oh,
What's it say?
it's A intersects.
Where does A intersect with S? So you go to the A column, you put your pencil on the A column, and you run down till it intersects with the S row. You see that? And what number pops up there?
8.
8. So that's the answer, 8. B. What does that say? S, go to the S row and unite that with the P row. So how many people in S? 56. How many people in purchasing? 22. So what's the answer if you unite them? 78. Everybody see that? See how we're reading the chart? You follow what's happening? Well, let's do another one. Are they all going to be this easy? M intersect A complement intersect SK complement. Where's M? That's the manufacturing row. Where? Okay, let's just take the numbers in that row. M is what? 5, 7, 0, 9, 23, and 27. Agreed?
37.
37. If you copy them down wrong, you'll miss them for sure, won't you? 37. That's the manufacturing row. Where does that intersect with A? At the 5? Right? But do they want the intersection with A or the complement of A? So the complement of A would be all of these, 0, 9, 23, and 37. You follow that? And where does the ones we've underlined intersect with what? Where does it intersect with SK? Where does M intersect with SK? 9. But we don't want the intersection with SK. We want the intersection with what? So everything that's not in SK. So what do I have here? What was SK? 9. So I take that one out, don't I? So what am I left with? 23 and 37.
Why not 7 and 0?
Why do I use 5 and 7?
No, 7 and 0. Oh, 'cause 0 is 0.
Because I'm looking for the intersection. Oh, I do use 7, don't I? Do I also use 5?
No.
No. I use 7, but not 5 because that was A, wasn't it? And I want the complement of A. So I add 7, 23 and 37, and what do I get? 67. Everybody see what's going on?
No.
What? Let's do another one then. Let's do 10D. S intersect A complement intersect C complement. Okay, where's S? What are the numbers in S? Look at the S row. And what are the numbers in S?
8, 40.
See that row? And then 0, 0, 0. Everybody follow that? That's row S. Everybody see where I'm getting those numbers for row S? Now, where does row S intersect with A? But I don't want the intersection with A. I want the intersection with what? The complement of A. So I want everything except this first 8, right? So I'm left with 8, 40, 0, 0, 0. Then where does that intersect with the complement of C? Where does it intersect with C? At the other 8?
Yeah.
But so I don't want that. I want the complement. So what's the answer? 40. There you go. The more you look at it, the more it starts to make sense. Number 12. In a survey of 100 investors, it was found that, now, see that big list of stuff? Some people have utilities, some people have transportation, and some people have what? Bonds. Everybody see my pictures? Utilities, transportation, and bonds. Now, you see where when I got that big old list of stuff, where do I go to work the problem? Go to the bottom and work my way up. What's the last thing it says there? So where do I put 3? Where all 3 circles overlap. Right there. Everybody see that? So I put 3 right there. Because, didn't they say it? 3 on all 3. Then move up a line. What's the next line say? 10 on utilities and bonds. So 10 people own these 2 right here. Well, I've already got 3, so what number goes in here? 7. Everybody see that? Then what's it say next? Next line up. Now we're looking at transportation and bonds. And how many own transportation and bonds? 23. I already have 3, so I need to put 20 out here. Okay? Then move on up to the next one. Take your pencil and check them off while you're moving up. 13 have utilities and transportation. So 13 have these 2. I already have 3, so what goes in there? What? 10. Didn't it say 13? Now, look what it says next. 70 own bonds. So down here under bonds, I'm supposed to have 70. What do I have? 7 and 3 and 20 add up to what?
30.
So what do I need out here?
40.
40 to make a total of 70. Then 15 own transportation. Transportation is 15. What?
Only.
Oh, I thought, how could that be 15 when I've got 20 and 3 and 10?
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and said, oh, it
only.
says only 15. So I put 15 out here, right? Because they've told me it's only 15. You got to read this stuff carefully, don't you? And then the first sentence, 5 owned stocks,
Only.
utilities only. So 5 out here. Now I've got all the regions filled in. Everybody see where we got the numbers for all these regions? So now we're ready to answer the questions. How many investors own bonds only?
40.
40. How many? B. So A is 40. What's B? How many investors own utilities and or transportation? Utilities and or transportation. Utilities and or transportation. That would be this circle and this circle, right? What does that add up to be? 15, 17, 20, 40, 55. I do that right? And what's the next question? How many own neither bonds nor utility stocks? Here's my big universe. How many investors did we start with?
100.
100. What does this all add up to? I don't know. Let's see. 5 and 10 is 15, and 15
All
is
equals
30.
100.
30 and 50 and 60 and 100. So how many go, what do I put in the corner here?
0.
0. Everybody follow what's going on?
But the answer would be 40.
How many investors own neither bonds nor utility stocks?
Oh, you could. Okay.
So neither bonds nor utilities.
All right.
So what would that be?
15.
That would be transportation only. So that would be 15. So C would be 15.
Would it be add to 60? Or is it, no, it's just
Wh- Which one?
80. Letter B. Yeah.
How many investors own neither bonds nor utilities? They don't own bonds. Oh, bonds? Let's see. They don't own bonds, so they don't own any of this. And they don't own any of this. Who does not own any of this or any of this? These people right here. Agreed? And these people here, if there would have been somebody there. Okay? Problem number, let's see, 16. A survey of 900 workers in a plant indicates that 500 own houses, 600 own cars, 340 own boats. How come I'm not writing the numbers in here? Because where do I want to start?
Bottom up.
At the bottom where it says what? 200 own all three. Everybody see that? 200 own all three. 270 own cars and boats. So 270 own cars and boats. So what goes here? 70. Because we already got 200 of them in there that own houses too. What's next? 250 own houses and boats. 250 own houses and boats. So what goes here? 50, because 200 of them own boats and houses and cars. And then 300 own cars and houses. 300 own cars and houses, so what goes here? 100. Everybody see where we're getting the numbers? Now we're up to 345 own boats. Down here I should have 345. What's this add up to? 320. So what number goes here? 25. And for cars, 600 own cars. So I need 600 here. I have 370. So I need what out here? 600 minus 370 leaves me with 230.
30.
And then first line, 500 own houses. So I have 500 here, 350. So 500 minus 350 gives me 150. Now I can answer the questions. How many of the workers didn't own any of these? So I draw my big box for my universe. And how many people did we start with? 900. Is that right?
Yeah.
What do these numbers all add up to? 150, 250, 450, 500, 730, 800. Is that 825?
Mm-hmm.
And I subtract that from 900. So 75 people are out here without a home, without a car, without a boat. Don't you feel sorry for them? 16b, how many of the workers own only 2 of these items? How many people own 2 things? Only 2. Now these people own all 3, so they don't count. These people own 2, houses and cars, and these people own 2, cars and boats, and these people own only 2, houses and boats. So what's 150 and 70 add up to? What? 150, 220, is that right? Do we all add right? There you go. Let's see. Let's do number 22. Problem 22. Referring to the diagram for problem 21, that's the picture there under 21. That's that picture with what? 50, 30, 70. And what's in the universe? Does it say? Well, find the number in the union of A and C. If I put A and C together, what do I get? 150, don't I? 70 plus 30 plus the 50 that do both. Is that a good way to think about it? 70 only A, 30 only C, and 50 with both A and C. Does that help you see why you just add the 50 once? 24. With the total number of students as in problem 23, what was 23? It's 200. What did we come up with? Was what? 150? If there were 200 students, then 50 go down here in the corner, don't they? Everybody follow that? Oh, I just did one of yours. No, I didn't answer the questions. I just filled out the picture. So for 24, now we're doing 24 with the picture 23 finished out. A, see what A says? Now, the number of elements in the complement of A, where's the complement of A? Everything in the universe that's not in A. That would be 30 and 50, right? 50 and 30. And C would be 50 and 30. And if I unite those two, if I put them together, what do I have? Let's see. I have this 50 here. The complement of A is this 30 and this 50. You follow me? And C is this 30 and this 50. See what's going on? C is 30 and 50. Why did I put a check mark by this one? Because it's the same as the complement of A. So what happens when I add these together? What do I get?
130.
130. 50 plus 50 plus this 30. See, this 30 shows up both, so I add the 50 and the 50, and I only add this 30 one time. Once as a part of C, once as a part of C, and once as part of the complement of A. But I don't add it twice. You'll have to help me. See, I'm getting used to using this tablet. I'm sitting here drawing pictures on here, and I realize you can't see that. So I have to walk over to the screen and point at it to help you see what's going on. Number 26. And we stop. You stop working when you get to 25, but I'm going to do 26 just because it's so much fun. Well, I think it is. I'm just telling you. This stuff is fun.
I'll believe you.
A number of people were interviewed to find out who buys products A, B, and C regularly. And here are the results. So, A, B, and C. And they fill them in for you. 5,
Yay.
3, 2, 7, 15, 10. Wasn't that nice that you didn't have to read up backwards to figure it out?
Forget the people who don't buy anything.
Oh, that's right. And down here in my universe, I got 20 people who don't buy any of the products. Now I can answer the questions. See why it helps to copy this stuff over? It kind of fixes it in your mind when you're looking at the questions. 26A says, how many buy product A? Okay, how many people buy this product? You say, what is that number? That's a 7. What is this number? That's a 2. So 7, 2, 3, and 5. So that would be 17. What's B? How many people buy product A but not B? A but not B. 7 and 5 would be what? 12. C. How many people buy B or C? B or C, but not A. So I take this out, and what do I have? What? B or C, but not A. What's that add up to? 23, 10, and 15. What is that? 58? 48? Well, you got to add right, Tom, or you're going to miss it. And then D. How many do not buy product C? How many people do not buy this product? 5 and 3 and 23 and 20. Everybody see that? How many people do not buy this product?
31.
5 and 3, 8. 23 would be what? 31. And 20 would be 51.
Can't forget about those people who don't buy anything.
Got to remember the people who don't buy anything. E. How many people were interviewed? Oh,
Some more math.
let's count them all. 5 and 3, 8, 10, 17, 27, 40, 50, 65, 85 people, right? Everybody follow what's going on? You got this figured out. And it's time to quit. If you have questions, stay afterwards. I would love to help you.
It does. Yeah, it is. It's not bad.
Because I want to make that stuff that we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll email you today.
This is the greatest. She's just judging. She's like, wrong.
Gonna give you enough minus. I mean, graded it yourself though. You know what you did, did you?
Hey, Dr. Bowen.
Yeah.
I got sick on the weekend. And I was wondering if you can give me more time. I'm like already behind on 2 sections. So my goal is hopefully today, tomorrow, more practice, and then, yeah, it's just big nuts.
That'll work.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out, maybe I just have to turn this thing on. That must be what I have to do. To get that thing to go away.
But no, I mean, I enjoy this class and I'm trying to do the best I can. So it is, this section has been very difficult for me.
He said 25.
There.